I was having a call this week with somebody in the industry.
Flex.
Yeah, you like that? Ugh.
Somebody in the industry.
It could be anybody.
It's Dave Gettleman.
We have brain damage.
Yeah, it is. If there's anybody that my personality meshes with, it would be Dave Gettleman.
My plan is to come in here every day and kick. That's my plan. Okay? And I'm going to keep doing it until they either take my key card.
Welcome to the opening bell of the NFL Stock Exchange podcast. Trevor Sikkema, Connor Rogers, back for another Stock Watch episode as we turn back the clock to last Saturday in college football, which was week 3 in college football. 3, yeah, that's where we're at. And we're going to talk about some stock up, stock down candidates. We're going to talk about some guys who have played well. Certainly, we're going to focus on the quarterbacks at the top of the show like we have every single Stock Watch episode to this point. But we're also at the end of the show, if you're new around here, we're going to give you a new name to the scouting circle that we didn't give you guys during summer scouting who might be standing out in one way or the other. I'll let you guys know multiple new names here on this show. Yeah. We only have one that we put into the new name category, but throughout the whole Stock Watch episode, you're getting multiple new names here. And then like we did last week, at the end of the show, we'll shout out some of the guys that you guys, the addicts, are saying should get shout outs here on the show. Connor, how you doing?
I'm good, man. Looking at our rundown sheet after the quarterbacks, I think you and I are bringing 2 new names to stock up out of the 3, and then actually a new name for the new name segment. So it's just that kind of year where, you know, a couple guys I'll recognize from a watch list before the year or senior list or even what we do on Big Ten Countdown at NBC. But this show, there's plenty of guys that we didn't get to or they weren't in the rankings before the year. So this is the beauty of it, dude. It's kind of just adding these names to the sheet every single week. And when we re-rank groups, it'll be a little easier. We'll have a big leg up.
That's a really nice way to say that the class is cheeks, and now we're trying to find literally anybody that can play. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. It's not totally cheeks. It's not. But I do feel like this year more than other years, we're sort of broadening our horizons early in the season to try to find some new names. You know?
I agree. I was having a call this week with somebody in the industry, and we tried to count.
Flex.
Yeah, you like that?
Somebody in the industry.
It could be anybody.
Could be anybody.
It could have been you.
It wasn't.
It wasn't you, but it could have been you. It could literally be anybody out there. It could be anybody with a Twitter account that tweets about the draft. We were trying to figure out who are the players right now that you can confidently say will be a top 20 pick. And the exercise was way harder than I think it's ever been, or at least for a couple years.
I mean, I'm planning on doing an update to the big board, the MDS big board and my own big board for, do I wait till, I guess it'll be week 4. So I guess we'll do it next week. We could do that like for this episode if we wanted to go over some of the different movement that we have on the big board and just and kind of switch up Stock Watch if we wanted to do it like that. But I have already noticed more drastic movement on my own big board at this point in time than I have most other years that we have done this exercise.
You're panicking.
It's Caleb Downs and then just punt until next year. Just start trading back as many times as possible. No, again, it's not that bad, but it is when we go through the updated big board next week. If we want to do that, if you guys want us to do that, let us know in the comment section. It will look very different. I can already tell you guys, the guys that are in my top 20, it might look, we might have like half of the top 20 might be new players that have moved up into that range. So I do agree with you, as well as, you know, your connection in the industry that you talk to.
There you go.
So mysteriously.
Yes. Could be a vlogger, could be a general manager, could be an agent, could be a scout, could be so many different people.
It's Dave Gettleman.
Yeah, it is.
He's got to get these takes off. He's got to get these takes off.
If there's anybody that my personality meshes with, it would be Dave Gettleman. Absolutely.
Hey, you know what? Dave Gettleman. Never wrong, just early about Daniel Jones. I'm just saying.
Oh, man. 3D goggles.
Never wrong, just early. He's playing chess, folks.
I would love if he had a Twitter account and that's all he tweeted. Every day was never wrong, just early. And that's it. He just does it again the next day.
I'd retweet it every day.
I actually would.
Every single day I would retweet it. All right, so hey, everybody out there, we're about to jump into this quarterback conversation, but I forgot to do this last episode. If you guys don't have a PFF Plus subscription, y'all can see all of the information that we talk about here on this show and so much more if you get one. And right now, you can get one while also helping support the show by using the promo code NFLSE25. And also, you're getting 25% off. So that's why we're running the promo over at PFF. It's 2025. You're getting 25% off. So you can think of it this way. You're getting 3 months of PFF Plus subscription for free. So if you don't have one right now, honestly, it's a great time to get one. Get yourself 25% off. Use the promo code NFLSE25, and that will help out this show as well. So we would really appreciate it if you guys are getting a subscription to use our promo code there. That would be great.
If you love the draft, it's no joke. PFF's data has completely revamped my scouting process over the last half decade, just because it gives me basically breadcrumbs or like a trail to follow down for deeper guys. Like, yeah, everybody is watching
For
Caleb
sure.
Downs, but when we're going through day 3, me and you really grind day 3 players for a couple months leading up to the draft. Just the data trends you can follow to be like, hey, this guy is not being talked about and probably should be a 5th rounder. And if you're nuts about the draft, that's probably the best part about that data.
And you get the fully unlocked mock draft simulator too. Like, you can do all the trades, you can do 7 rounds, you can do all of that great stuff if you have the subscription. So again, if you know you're going to use it for draft season anyways, like if you're somebody who might be seasonal when you get a PFF sub, get 25% off right now. And again, help out the show, NFLSE 25. That's the best way to do that. We have to talk about Arch Manning. I know that we've talked about Arch Manning sort of a little bit throughout the first couple of weeks when he played Ohio State. It was like, not great. And then San Jose State, it's like, okay, the passing grade's a little bit better, but it's still San Jose State. It was a little up and down. He had 3 turnover-worthy plays to go along with his 3 big-time throws. The UTEP game, he graded out at a 47.1 as a passer. We got major problems right now. Arch Manning was my... wait, hold on. Whoa.
Whoa. You and I don't have problems here.
Wait, what do you mean? What do you mean?
He's got to go back to school. That's it.
Oh, sure.
No. I'm not saying you. Like, I didn't rank him where I had him either.
You're friend in the industry whose job is on the line to pick a quarterback next year.
We
have a problem here with where he's currently ranked on the big board,
Thank
okay?
you.
That is actually
Yeah.
the clarification there, because to be honest with you, and I'm not trying to like overly dunk on him, be unfair, whatever. He is one of, if not, well, I guess he is certainly the most disappointing quarterback in all of college football so far this season.
By far.
Not even close. And to be honest with you, he's one of the worst quarterbacks in the Power 4. He's one of the worst quarterbacks in the SEC. He's one of the worst quarterbacks in the FBS right now. I do not know what happened. And Steve Sarkisian is saying he's not hurt. Even though he's sidearming throws, he's got that wincing face sometimes when he throws the ball. Like the throwing motion, yeah, it was a little sidearmed last year. But I'm telling you guys, go watch the games from last year. There are plenty of throws that are much more traditional and over the top, and the follow through is exactly the way that it should be. And this year, like, everything is panicked, everything is sidearmed. The footwork is so often not married with where he's pointing to his shoulders to the target, and then you throw in the sidearm motion that he has. I don't get it, man. I said earlier this week to some of the guys that work at PFF, you remember Rick Ankiel, the pitcher?
I'll never forget it.
That's genuinely what it feels like. When Rick Ankiel got the yips. I don't know how else to explain this, because it'd be one thing if Arch didn't show us any of this and he's still like learning and growing and everything. He's, no question about it, worse in his fundamentals, his decision making, how he manages the pocket, his throwing on the run, his play under pressure. Everything is so much worse than it was last season. And that's hard for me to believe, given the fact that he's played San Jose State and UTEP over the last couple of weeks. Ohio State in the shoe to open things up against Matt Patricia and that defense. Yeah, I get it. All right. Most quarterbacks, maybe all of them, would struggle in that environment. But now we got things to worry about. I mean, it's just very strange to me, and he's hard to put on a big board right now because of what you said. Like, he's going back to school. And maybe I'll just remove him from the big board overall, but I feel like that's also not fair because technically he's draft eligible, and I know people are going to want to use him in the mock draft simulator. But Commoner, I'm kind of at a loss of where to put him, because if I'm judging him off of what he is this year going to the NFL, yes, his last name's Manning, and I think he'd be a top 100 pick no matter what. He'd probably be a second-round pick no matter what. Like Christian Hackenberg was a second-round pick, right? And that's sort of, honestly, like...
yeah, it was a great idea.
How he's playing right now.
Right.
But they took Hackenberg because he just had the tools, and they said, whatever. Manning, I think, is, if he's in this draft, a second rounder no matter what. But to be honest with you, his tape is that of like a 5th, 6th, 7th round quarterback.
Yeah. Seriously.
So
that's where it's at.
Yeah. So we had to bring up the Manning conversation, but I went back and I watched the UTEP game. There's not really one thing to point to. He's just really leaning into this sidearm throwing motion. His footwork is not at all lined up with where he is releasing the ball. And because of that, his on-target percentage is bad. His adjusted completion percentage is bad. He's throwing all sorts of turnover-worthy plays. I mean, that interception that he threw in the end zone, buddy, you can't even possibly think to throw that football. No. And he's doing it in a game. It's just very, very strange to me for a player who is so talented. And one that I understand. Like, he didn't have to look like Peyton this year.
No.
He just had to look kind of like he did last year. And that would have been good. And it's just wow. I don't know if you have thoughts on Arch, but those are my thoughts that I had to get off my chest, because he is absolutely not going to be ranked 3rd overall when I update the big board. And to be honest with you, I don't even know where I'm going to have him in my top 100, if I'm going to have him in my top 100 at this point.
I think you put it perfectly, especially the Rick Ankiel comp, which got the Mets to the 2000 World Series that year because he pitched in 2 of those games, just throwing the ball to the backstop. It's right. I don't know if it's psychological, but I guess it could be a scenario where he's just lacking confidence and it is trickling into the physical. We've seen that before with guys, but it's weird to me for this guy that I thought when he had to come in last year didn't look out of place or like, oh, this moment's too big for me. And you would think he'd be way more ready this year after being the guy throughout all of spring ball and all of camp. And who cares you lost week 1 to the best team in the country? Nobody's killing you for that. The UTEP game was very alarming. It's very alarming. And the random sidearm throws, the mechanics from top to bottom, everything is just messy right now. And that's how I view it, Trevor, where it's good that he's not in his final year of eligibility, where it's like, what do we do with this guy? It's just officially moved to he's not an NFL quarterback prospect for this year, barring some kind of shock, barring some kind of drastic change the second half of the college season into a playoff run. And he decides to declare, which all of those things would be extremely surprising right now. Mm-hmm. And I think that unless something drastically changes, like I said, this could be the last time for this year's draft that Arch Manning is in this quarterback carousel combo we do every single week in the middle of the week.
All right, so who do you want to bring to the table to talk about here to start the day?
Sam Leavitt on Arizona State, because rightfully so, I get a lot of questions or comments about Sam Leavitt because he was QB12 for me this summer, and people were, a little confused by that, especially some of the moments he had last year. And I decided to really focus in on Sam Leavitt this week against Texas State, a game in which they won. Texas State was hanging around for a bit here, but just to grind the tape a bit and kind of see where he is at compared to what I liked and didn't like over the summer. And to me, the Sam Leavitt problem I wrote down that was the number one issue from summer that to me still looks like the number one problem. He's just the guy that puts his offensive lineman in a tough spot by how often he bounces around or bails or drifts from clean pockets. And there are times where the rush is on him and he can make a marvelous play. Like he could spin out and roll to the sideline or dip his shoulder and make somebody miss. In this game specifically, he did have 3 big-time throws, 0 turnover-worthy plays. He did take 3 sacks against Texas State. He had a 77.9 passing grade. Trevor, I just don't love his arm and pocket presence, and I think the things he's good at are totally fine and work in college where He's a good playmaker in a chaotic environment. He can get out of trouble. He can kind of have these scrambles where you're like, how did he even do that? I don't think he's fast enough where in the NFL he'll just be running away from NFL edge defenders all the time. I think that he is his most confident and comfortable when they go to the quick game, whether it's quick throws to the flats, the screen game, play action, hit the quick pass. Like, that's the stuff that he's a good distributor that way. But I think when he has to push the ball down the field in a very muddy environment, he has to kill this habit of constantly drifting and throwing, because he's putting a lot of air under the ball at times. And for the most part, it hasn't cost him too much yet, but I think a really good team will take away some of those throws. So just more highs and lows from Sam Leavitt, somebody I'm going to be tracking all year. Everybody knows I since summer I've thought Jordan Tyson is not only the best receiver in this draft, I think he's one of the best players in this draft.
Yeah.
That's a big help for him. He's not carried by Tyson, but I think he is the guy in this offense, and I think Leavitt still has a little bit of a ways to go before I move him up from where I had him.
Yeah, you want to talk about a guy who's going to be a lot higher on my rankings, and I think I had Tyson like 12,
right? Yeah,
11, and he could very well be in my top 5 when I update that big board, just because of how good this dude is. I think he's a legit NFL prospect. I agree with you. He is the guy in that offense. I have always been higher on Sam Leavitt than you have been. When we went back to the summer scouting quarterback episode, I think it just comes down to I believe in his arm more than you do.
Right.
Because you're a little bit more cautious on what his overall arm talent is in the pros at the NFL level. I think that he has a good arm despite being a little bit smaller in his measurables, but there's no doubt about it. Like he's kind of going through the same thing that Bo Nix is going through right now with the Broncos, where
that's a good call.
Think about Bo Nix the last 2 years. Well, I should say the last 3 years. The 2 years he was at Oregon and then last year with the Broncos. Very risk averse, low turnover worthy play percentage, always sort of was like taking what the defense was giving him. And on Oregon's team, he didn't really have to try to win the game with his arms. Now he could, because I think Nix has got a hell of an arm. I really do. But he didn't have to win it with his arm a lot. As a rookie, you could tell that he really he didn't want to blow it for his team. You know,
right.
he was somebody who wanted to take what the defense gave him. Again, I think the Denver Broncos had a good year last year. They won 10 games, right? I think they went 10-7 last year, and that was good. But this year, I've said this to Dalton on the PFF show, I think that Bo Nix and Sean Payton got together this offseason, and they came to the conclusion that if the Broncos are going to get to where they want to go, the ceiling of this team, Nix has to throw the ball.
They definitely did. It's so obvious.
Right. He has to throw the ball more, and it's the first time since Auburn that he's really been doing that, and he's struggling to do that. When you look at Sam Leavitt had one of the lowest turnover-worthy play rates in the country last year. I think it was like 1.2, 1.3, something like that. And he just really wasn't asked to win games with his arms a lot. They had Cam Scatterbo, and so they could totally lean on the running game last year. This year, they don't have Scatterbo. This year, it's Tyson again. They've got to win games through Jordan Tyson. So they're asking Sam Leavitt to be more of a gunslinger, and to your point exactly, naturally, for him, that's pretty reckless. Like, it's a lot of bailing from clean pockets, and it's trying to use your athleticism, and like even that one big time throw he had where it was like the jump throw, like the shortstop, like the Derek Jeter kind of throw thing. It's like you maybe don't even have to do that. You know, I know John Mateer did one like that the other week as well. But it's just like he's pushing it for the first time, really, and so he's going through those growing pains again. I am always going to be a little bit more lenient and willing to work with some of the mistakes that Sam Leavitt has, because I believe in his overall arm talent. If you don't, I can understand, like on your side of things, being more like, because like you said, if you don't believe in the ceiling of his arm talent, all you have to work with really right now is he's reckless. He doesn't know how to manage the pocket. He's not great under pressure. The mechanics fail when he gets out of the pocket. And those are the things that weigh more to you. To me, it still weighs more that I like the arm a little bit more than you do, but I can understand the concerns there for him. It was nice to see him bounce back after a poor game versus Mississippi State.
He was definitely better, yeah.
But I mean, even the first big-time throw that he had.
The Tyson catch?
Yeah, I mean, it counts as a big-time throw, but I mean, let's be honest. That's a Sports Center, da-da-da, da-da-da. Like, that's what that play is. That's not a big-time throw. That's Jordan Tyson just being a
climbing the
top 10
ladder.
pick.
I mean, the safety over there, there was so much air under the ball. The safety had the choice of, do I knock his head off or go for the interception? And he did neither. And Tyson just hangs in the air for what feels like 8 minutes. And you know what? Like, I'm not going to criticize Leavitt. When you have a talent like that, like if you had Justin Jefferson, you should do that. You should put more air under the ball and give the guy with some of the best ball skills in a 8 billion mile radius a chance to make a play. But you're right. That's an exaggerated big time throw. I was more impressed with a sideline throw to the opposite sideline that was dropped, but he hit him in stride.
Right.
And then he had, I think the jump throw was actually the other one, which was nuts. But it's a little, it was like kind of NFL street style.
Hey everybody, hope you guys are enjoying the show. And if you are, do us a big favor. Double check to see if you're subscribed to the channel. Because I feel like I've read so many comments or replies of people who are saying, oh my gosh, I've watched so many of your videos, I didn't even realize that I wasn't subscribed. It's a free, easy way to support the show, and we would really appreciate it. Whether it's been college football, NFL football, or of course, NFL draft talk, you guys have built such an awesome community, and we would love for everybody out there to join by being a subscriber. It's a really cool way to also get involved in the show so we can make the content that you want, so we could be the best NFL draft channel out there. Appreciate all you guys. Let's get back to it. So let's talk about Dante Moore next.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of Oregon fans have wanted us to talk about Dante Moore. I've been reluctant to talk about him before this point, just because he's a redshirt sophomore. He's a former 5-star, so people have known about him for a long, long time. He was one of the top prospects overall in his draft class. I believe he was only behind Arch Manning and Nico Iamaleava in that draft class, or in that recruiting class. But I think that even behind those two quarterbacks, he was still number 4 on 247's like national list. So this is a highly touted quarterback who started his career at UCLA. He played in 9 games the first season. He started 5 of them, but it was kind of this in and out of the lineup thing with Chip Kelly when Chip Kelly was still the head coach there. And after he got benched, sort of in the middle or end of the season, he entered the transfer portal, ends up transferring to Oregon, doesn't play last year because he was sitting behind Dylan Gabriel.
Right.
And like a lot of people were talking about him when we were doing summer scouting, and I watched his stuff because there's nothing really to watch from 2024.
No.
And I watched his stuff from 2023 when he started with UCLA, and I'm not going to lie, like, it was bad. Like, I genuinely thought it was bad. I did not think that he was playing the quarterback position at a high level at all whatsoever, even for college, let alone the NFL. He was late to reads, he was late on throws, turnover-worthy plays, bad decisions, not managing the pocket, not feeling pressure. Like, it was not good from him in 2023. This year, 2025, is certainly his best season yet. But we're young and into it at 3 games, and they haven't really played anybody. I think they played Montana State in the first week. They played Oklahoma State, which, all due respect to Oklahoma State, their defense is very bad this year.
And then Northwestern, right?
And then Northwestern, which is an opponent that you should absolutely handle if you're a team like Oregon currently, the way that their program is constructed with all of that talent there. But I wanted to watch him because you guys have asked us to watch him, and so I did. So he's listed at 6'3", 210 pounds, which is 55th percentile in height, only 14th percentile for weight. You could see he's a little bit smaller, he's a little bit more slender. He's got pretty good fundamentals. You could tell. I didn't think that the fundamentals were always there in 2023. 2 years later, you could tell that he's much more conscious of his fundamentals. He's got that clean, quick throwing motion, which is good. Again, I talked about with Arch Manning. A lot of these guys, I'm not trying to like go after any quarterback coaches out there, but like a lot of quarterback coaches, I feel like will sort of like teach more of a sidearm because it's very quick. Like it's a quick way to get the ball out of your hand. But yeah. I also think that could be a little bit reckless with accuracy and what should I say? Like repeatability, repetitive throwing motion. That's actually the word that I was looking for there. So Moore has that, which I like. He's a little bit smaller than you would want for the position at the NFL level, but through 3 games, 82.0 passing grade, which is good. 7 touchdowns, 1 interception, great. 5.9 big time throw percentage, so he's got 4, and then 1.4 turnover worthy play percentage, so he has 1. Time to throw is 7.23. Great number. That's what you want. Adjusted completion percentage, 79.1. That's a great score. Anything near 80% adjusted completion percentage, fantastic. And Connor, he has yet to take a sack this season.
Yeah.
His pressure to sack ratio in 2023 was 26%. So the fact that he has yet to take a sack despite having 14 pressures against him, I think that's pretty good. Now, a little bit of deficiencies for him. I said that physically he had some deficiencies because he wasn't really built like an NFL quarterback. He had some smaller measurables. I think that his arm talent's okay right now. I think he's decent with his legs. He's not a Justin Fields or a Jalen Milroe type with his legs, but he can escape. He can keep defenses honest with his legs. I think he's got a good arm. Adequate arm is probably the word that I would use. I don't think it's a special arm. Something I also noticed about him, sometimes his passes will wobble in their path more often than I thought I was going to see, which makes me wonder, does he have a little bit smaller of hand size, less control over the football, which is a little bit worrisome because when you get to the NFL level and you got to ramp up your throwing power, if you don't have that control over the football, that's when you start to get some lack of ball placement, lack of accuracy, things like that. But overall, through 3 games, he looks a lot better than what he looked like in 2023. He looks a lot closer to being an NFL type of quarterback, but we've got to see it against good competition. Are you still managing the pocket correctly? Are the fundamentals still there when you're under pressure against better teams? Is the pressure to sack ratio still relatively low when you get to better competition? I know they play Penn State, they play Indiana coming up here soon, so those will be big tests for them. Penn State's at Penn State, and then they host Indiana. Yeah, so that'll be a fun game for them and some good tests there. But overall, I wasn't blown away by the overall arm talent. Like, even if he continues his consistent path right now, I don't know if this is a guy who I would say is, oh yeah, if he fixes the consistency, if he gives us the consistency, he's a number 1 overall pick type of a guy. But could he start in the NFL? Yeah, I could see a world where he starts in the NFL. Let's just see it against some better competition. So those are my initial thoughts on Dante Moore, who I know a lot of you wanted us to watch.
No, I'm glad you watched him because I have seen a lot of responses about him. He is obviously eligible. Before the year, I looked at it and said, like, hey, unless he has this monster year, it probably makes sense for him to be a 2-year starter there. But things can change quickly. I did a breakdown on Kenyon Sadiq for NBC this week, so I've indirectly watched a lot of Moore while break clipping out and cutting plays of Sadiq. But I'll definitely be prepping for him a lot. Week 5, which is unbelievably a week from this weekend already, our game for Big Ten College Countdown is the whiteout. Yeah. So I'll next week I'll be watching a lot of Moore, but it's good to hear your foundation of him. And from the little I have watched, I have thought similar like top level stuff to you, Trevor, where I'm never wowed physically, but this is an offense that, I mean, it's just efficiently run right now, right? Like it's hard to. There's not a lot of bad to critique. Because, which is good. Which is really good. Like
which is what you want to see against lesser competition,
yes,
for sure.
Let's have it carry over, obviously to the better teams. But yeah, Dante Moore is absolutely on the radar because everybody is starving for quarterbacks right now in this draft class.
Yes, they are.
Like, honestly.
Yes, they are.
Which made me turn back the clock. Guess who I watched this week that I didn't watch for summer scouting this year? I watched for summer scouting 2 years ago.
Who is this?
Noah Fifita.
Oh, wow. That's a name I haven't heard in a long, long time.
Noah Fifita is playing really good football right now, man. And listen, we had this combo on summer scouting 2 years ago. At his size, because Noah Fifita is listed at 5'10", okay?
That's never good.
You understand the limitations going in right away. Because, Noah Fifita at this size could probably throw 100 touchdowns and no interceptions this year, and I don't think he'd be a first-round pick. I just think the NFL is just going to be very afraid of an outlier that's listed 5'10", 186, which means...
Yeah, especially with Bryce playing the way that he is. Like, if Bryce was lighting the world on fire, I think the teams maybe give small quarterbacks a little bit more benefit of the doubt. But for Bryce Young to go number 1 overall, it's almost like... I feel like the league's going to say, well, if any small quarterback was going to make it, it was going to be this dude.
Right.
And
he's smaller than Bryce.
You think he's smaller than Bryce?
Let's see what was Bryce officially at the Combine. Bryce officially at the Combine, and I know he had the very clearly not real weight on at the time. Bryce was 5'10" and an eighth, 204. Fifita is listed 5'10", 186. So I don't, unless they're just actually being honest, which would be nice, and he really is 5'10", and he could put on the fake weight to 200, but he's, and Bryce had 9 3/4 inch hands, which is way above the threshold.
Right.
So I was just checking my sheet to see if I had spring measurements on
Fifita?
On Fifita, and the first sheet I checked did not. So
we should. Was he a redshirt senior? What is
that's what's weird to me is that typically
we should have
you
that
should
in one of
have
our
it.
databases.
Yeah, let me know if you come up with anything. There's
Did
one
Dane have it? He might.
Oh,
Let me
okay.
look.
There's one other sheet I have that could have it. But the best one I have that had pretty much everybody that's eligible did not. So okay, I found it. This is something that folks, when you're in the business, do this before the show. Okay.
Why would we do that?
I don't have him on either sheet, which is bizarre, but here we are.
Dane doesn't have him either.
Isn't that odd? His height and weight is like clearly, unless a team.
He's 5'5", 155.
Stop.
How would we not have? We have deep
155.
We have deep databases. I know the two that you're talking about because I have access to them as well.
If you work in scouting, you probably have them.
Dane's out here writing the beast that's got 80,000 guys in it, and you're telling me he doesn't have Noah Fifita's official measurements?
It's peculiar at best. Anyway,
nobody fools Dane Brugler.
No, he clearly has AI bots going into school facilities and measuring all these things. Good work.
Anything for the beast, to be honest.
Anything for the beast. It's not going to write itself. I say all of this to say credit to Noah Fifita, who's playing really good football this year. He really is. He, number one, and they beat Kansas State in their most recent game, 80.4 passing grade. He had 2 big-time throws. He didn't have any turnover-worthy plays. 3 of his passes, and some of them were good ones, were dropped. But this is the difference, Trevor. 2 rushing touchdowns. They are using the designed run game for him, and it is opening up everything.
Like RPO or like QB power, like QB draw?
Everything.
Like
So, like a little zone read.
Okay.
Yeah, they are utilizing him at his side. They don't care that he's slender. They're like, hey, man, you're going to get the designed run game going. I'll tell you how many carries he already has this season. And, sure, some of them are he had 15 rush attempts against Kansas State, and a lot of them weren't just scrambles. Like, he is genuinely using the design run game to open up the field a little bit. And he's not a great runner, but he's an adequate one. He can make somebody miss. He's got enough juice. The thing to me as a passer, he is very good at when he is moved off his spot from the rush at making a consistent effort to reset the pocket. A lot of young quarterbacks get moved off their spot from the rush, and all of a sudden they just start running for their life backwards or to the sideline until they're out of space and have to throw the ball in the air.
Right.
Fifita, and this is something clearly he worked on a lot this offseason, that good pro quarter. I think Baker Mayfield has gotten a lot better at this at the next level. He evades the rush, and then he has enough spatial awareness to reset his base and put himself in throwing position back into the pocket again. And he's making really good throws from doing that. And he's throwing with anticipation as well. Down the field, in the middle of the field. For such a small guy, he's made some middle of the field throws where I'm like, man, he's just seeing it. Like, he knows the exact depth of the linebacker, the exact depth of the safety, and he could put the ball on a rope in the middle of the field. So, once again, man, I don't know what Noah Fifita ultimately is going to be as an NFL prospect, but I tip my cap to him because he has made so many strides after a bad year last year that he is playing at a much better level, that at least he is back on the map. And if Dylan Gabriel could be a third-round pick, if Noah Fifita can at least play like this all year, he will be drafted, and that's a credit to him. Like, him competing for a backup job or a roster at the next level, it would be absolutely maximizing his tools.
I liked Fifita when I watched Tet McMillan originally. Right. I remember I don't remember where I had Fifita in summer scouting for 2024. No, that would have been it would have been
summer of 2024.
Yeah, summer of 2024.
Because last year was the year where it was like, man, it wasn't a great year for him.
So I would have been watching, obviously, the 2023 tape for summer scouting at 24, and I remember watching it and going, okay, like, Tet's legit, but, like, Fifita can also play. Like, if you believed in Bryce Young, you could talk yourself into Fifita. And I remember I gave him a draftable grade when I watched him in summer scouting. I liked him. And then last year, obviously, just wasn't great for, it felt like anybody with Arizona outside of Tet, who is still fantastic. But it's great to hear that he is back and balling, and I'll have to go back and make sure I watch his games and make sure I watch more of his games moving forward, because I did like his game.
In a year where 80% of the quarterbacks have not taken a step forward from where we watched over summer, Noah Fifita has made improvements. So credit to him.
Last quarterback that I want to talk about, last week we joked, or actually, what was it, 2 weeks ago we joked, is Carson Beck actually Carson BACK?
Carson BACK.
Folks, he's Carson BACK. I don't know what to tell you. Obviously, he's got a big game against the University of Florida this weekend. And Florida, for as much as they are tight end you at the quarterback, transitioning to tight end position.
He's leading into it.
And what else am I going to do, brother?
The comments just bring up...
What else am I going to do?
The comments have made so many Lagway tight end jokes. Oh, it's a cruel world.
7 turnover-worthy plays, 1 game, 7.
Yeah, that's
tight end material.
Zach Wilson couldn't even do that.
I give him enough time.
You give him time, he can.
I believe
but he's not giving the time
him
anymore.
I believe him. That's not the bar you want, by the way. But anyways, it's obviously a good test against the Florida defense, which the Florida defense is good. It really made Nussmeier struggle when they were at LSU this past weekend. And so it'll be a good test for Carson Beck. But what I wanted to look at was his numbers this year versus his numbers in 2023, when we were kind of talking about him as potentially QB1 of last year's class before he ended up transferring and staying in college. So this year, so far, he has a 79.4 passing grade compared to a 90.8 that he had in 2023. But I want you guys to realize that good grades for a whole season compound, right? Like if you played 12 games, and you got to remember how PFF grades work, right? Like 60 is kind of like you doing your job. So let's say you had a season full of like 70 grade, like high 70, maybe low 80 passing grades, but you didn't have any duds. Like you were consistently at that level. Your overall season grade is probably going to be in the low 90s, because we give you credit in that formula for being consistently really good. You don't have to like grade a 90 every time. It's not necessarily an average. It's really about consistency, how well you're playing, all that kinds of stuff. So Carson Beck may have a 79.4 passing grade right now, but if he continued to play this well throughout the whole season, he could be close to where that 90.8 passing grade is at the end of the year, because then that consistency factor goes into the formula. He has a 4.8 big-time throw percentage this year compared to a 3.9 in 2023. He has a 1.1 turnover-worthy play percentage this year compared to a 2.3 in 2023. And when you look at adjusted completion percentage, it's close to the same. It's 80.7 versus a 79.0 that he had in 2023. And then the time to throw, very similar, 2.42 this year, 2.41 in 2023. So the differences with 2024 is the big time throw rate was very close to what it is this year, but the turnover worthy play rate was a career high. So the turnover worthy play rate is down. The time to throw was higher last year. He wasn't getting rid of the ball. He was second guessing himself. Now he is playing more confidently. So now we're watching Carson Beck, and we're watching him play at a level in which we potentially considered him QB1 in the 2024 class. Like that is the level in which we are playing him. Now, is that going to spell out QB1 in 2026? I have no idea. Probably not. But when you talk about a quarterback class that has yet to really take this full step forward as a group, Carson Beck knows how to play the position. Who he is middle of the field is NFL caliber. He has a 90.5 passing grade over the intermediate middle of the field, which is exactly what he was good at in 2023 when we talked about him being potentially QB1 back then. He is playing with so much more confidence than he was last season as well. And it's not like he hasn't had some stinkers so far this year. He's had some throws that he regrets and that he wishes he could have back. But when it comes to operating an offense and completing the throws that you need to complete at the NFL level, Carson Beck is showing us that maybe he's a spot starter at the NFL level, but he's at least that, and he might be more than that for you. I just don't know. Kind of depends on the landing spot for him. So where his ceiling, I think, is lower in the Carson Beck conversation than the way that we talked about him in 2023 going into 2024, the floor is still that same level of a guy who can absolutely play at the NFL level. It's just a matter of, is that a franchise caliber quarterback? Do we think that's just sort of like a starter who might be a bridge starter, maybe a preferred backup his whole career? That's the big question with him. He's an NFL player. It's just a matter of where he ends up falling in that spectrum.
Which is a massive win for him after how last year ended. Being at a program this year where this Miami team is really freaking good, and just getting back to who he was 2 years ago, where he was viewed as a top 100 guy going into that season before the wheels fell off the bus.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. That's quarterback conversation. Well, not entirely. I got one more quarterback that I'm going to bring up for my new name. So we are still going to talk quarterbacks. And it is a quarterback that you guys have asked for the last couple of weeks. So get ready for that one. But before we get to our stock watch portion of the show, this PFF betting segment is brought to you by our friends over at DraftKings. Connor, I'm looking at the NFL this week. I'm looking at that Cowboys-Bears game.
Oh, man.
And
50.5 point total.
It's a 50.5 point total. I kind of like the over.
I was going to say, this is no trap. I think it's going that way.
Dak is on fire right now. I think that, you know what? I think the sneaky line is whenever they release the receiving props, CeeDee Lamb going over 100. Who's going to stop CeeDee Lamb? Dennis Allen plays so much man coverage. Who's stopping CeeDee Lamb in this offense? Nobody has through the first 2 weeks.
Dude, Malik Neighbors put on a show. And
Wan'Dale Robinson put on a show.
Wan'Dale Robinson absolutely put on a show.
So, yeah, I like that. I like
that's
that
a good.
one.
That's a good line to watch because it's going to be set really high, and everybody's like, "Oh, well, it's set too high. Like, stay away." And it's like, well, there might not be a limit. When things like that happen, Trevor, I like to ladder bet. So, say CD, and I have no idea what this market's going to be for him with a point total that's the second highest of the week. It's 50.5. It's just off the top of my head, maybe it'll be like 89.5. What I try to do in that scenario, if I love the player, I'll bet 80 yards, 90 yards, 100 yards, 110, 120. And then hopefully you hit at least a couple of the bottom ones and break even, but you're playing the upside. So that's how I like to bet days like that for wide receivers.
Smart. Look at him.
I have a
you
life,
guy can check,
clearly.
You guys can check. We could have fooled me. You guys can check all this out for yourself with the DraftKings Sportsbook app and their .com platform as well. The NFL season rolling along, and every touchdown can bring you closer to payout with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Every game is another chance to cash in. Don't just watch the action. You can win with it. DraftKings Sportsbook delivers the unmatched intensity of the NFL right to your fingertips, from the first touchdown score to anytime props or the thrill of live in-game betting as well. Every snap is loaded with opportunity. New customers, this one's for you. You bet just $5 and get $200 instantly in bonus bets. Plus, you score over $200 off NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. As your season's starting to heat up, download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use the promo code PFF. That's promo code PFF to get $200 in bonus bets instantly when you place your first $5 bet. Plus, over $200 off in NFL Sunday Ticket if you're interested in that from YouTube and YouTube TV. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. If you guys got a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY, or just text HOPE-NY, which is 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problems with gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly on behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas. 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Fees may apply in Illinois, void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. See sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos. NFL Sunday Ticket offer is for new subscribers only and auto renews until canceled. Digital games and commercial use excluded. Restrictions apply. Additional NFL Sunday Ticket terms at youtube.com/go/NFL Sunday Tickets/terms. And this is a limited time offer. All right. Stock watch, which we're still going stock up, guys, but I am going to read off some replies from you guys that are talking about some stock down candidates. And now that we are like 4, 5, 6 weeks into the season, obviously we can start, I think, comfortably getting into that conversation of some guys who are a little bit disappointed to start the season. Obviously, we talked about that with Arch, but man, Arch is sort of a different category with him. So I know we're talking about a lot of stock up guys to start the season. We will start to talk about the overall stock market of what's up, what's down with some of these prospects. But this week, once again, we're talking a lot about stock up guys.
Yeah, for me right now, I'm just looking for more players in this class. I think when we get to October and beyond, there'll be a couple guys that were on my top 50 in the preseason. Now you got to discuss why they're going to fall. I'm going to start with a throwback. This is somebody when he transferred to Michigan to play off-ball linebacker. I was really excited about him. Once again, going back to 2024 summer scouting, Jaishawn Barham from Michigan, who now mostly plays on the edge.
Good.
And boy, was that the right decision, because it's just all about explosiveness and speed with this guy. This is coming off a week against Central Michigan where he had 2 sacks. He had 3 run stops. One of those run stops was a tackle for loss. Sometimes the sack production is really just a poor, protection, and he's so fast that he breaks through and finishes the play. But if you go back to week 1 against New Mexico, he had a rep where he absolutely smoked the right tackle, and they called targeting on him. It was a terrible, terrible call. It wasn't targeting, in my opinion. But besides that, because targeting doesn't exist in the NFL, it showed me, Trevor, that first step off the ball and the speed around the outside shoulder to close in on the pocket is lethal. This guy's burst is totally insane. And playing him more on the edge rather than off-ball linebacker right now, and he's kind of a hybrid player, but mostly playing edge, is him being more see-ball, get downhill, utilize your burst upfield, rather than I'm playing with more depth, I'm reading and reacting, I have to see it, and then I use my speed. And it has accelerated this guy's development. I think Michigan made a great call. He looks like a legitimate speed rushing threat on the edge.
Yeah, he was somebody who, when we watched his off-ball linebacker tape, the negatives were basically just retreating in coverage, playing that off-ball linebacker stuff. But what you loved is any time that he was going towards the line of scrimmage, he was like a bat out of hell.
Yep.
And you could tell he had a lot of speed to power to him, really nice explosiveness. And now that he is in a little bit more of that sort of pass rusher role, I think you're just compounding his strengths, and I think you're mitigating the opportunities that teams could have to take away his weaknesses. So, or expose his weaknesses, I should say. So I like hearing the fact that he'd be undersized for an edge rusher, right? Or what's he listed at?
About 245.
Okay, all right, that's fine.
He's not.
That's fine.
For his play style, he's not that small. He's really not. He's like 6'3", 245. So, I mean, dude, we just saw Jalen Walker go in the top 20. Not calling him Jalen Walker, but like when
That's
you
what
were,
I heard.
I called. There you go. There you go.
You
Fine, I said it.
He didn't even.
Fine, I said it. I said it. Jaishawn Barham, top 20 pick. He's Jalen Walker. Done.
Oh, there's no need to talk more about him, honestly.
I said it to the industry source too. When they said who's going in the top 20, I said I got one for you.
What'd Gettleman think?
Yeah, Gettleman was like, "Who the hell is that?" You kids and your keyboards.
Gettleman's like, if he ain't 265, I'm not drafting him.
Don't even put him in my database.
Yeah.
Non-ball knower.
The first guy that I want to bring up, Chris Brazzell II, the wide receiver from Tennessee. Probably
Tennessee, man. Woo, buddy.
Probably the most requested player that we had to watch this week. And I can understand why, because he was a monster versus Georgia. I think he had 3 touchdowns versus Georgia, and really just the whole season he has been fantastic. At least from a production standpoint. 84.4 receiving grade this season, 364 yards already through just 3 games, 20 receptions, 5 touchdowns in 3 games. He's got 10 explosive plays already, which is passes of 15 yards or more. 95.2 catchable passes caught percentage, 98.2 receiving grade on passes of more than 20 yards. So he's listed at 6'5", 200 pounds. So you guys, you were talking about him so much, you were shouting him out as somebody to watch. I decided to give him like the full evaluation, like get him on the mock draft simulator, make sure that I've got the early scouting report written on him. So 6'5", 200 pounds. So that's 96th percentile in height because he's huge, and 200 pounds is 46th percentile, so right around the middle of wide receivers. But percentile is kind of tough for wide receivers because they're built in all different ways. So it's a little bit tough there, but he is certainly on the bigger side in a good way. He's a former 3-star wide receiver from the 2022 class, so he's a redshirt junior this year. He also played basketball when he was in high school, which you would expect just looking at the dude. He committed to Tulane, played at Tulane for 2 seasons. He redshirted his first year, and then the next year he started 8 games. Last year he actually started 9 games with Tennessee, but Connor, he had just like a 59.4, I believe, is what his receiving grade was last season. He had like an 80% catchable passes caught percentage. The contested catch percentage was down. I mean, he was not effective at all whatsoever as a wide receiver last year. So that's why when this guy started going off, I was like, how's Tennessee doing this? Where'd they get him from? And then I, after research, saw, oh, he's been on the roster.
Which is shocking in this era.
Why didn't I hear more about him? Now, when I watch him play, I initially said, okay, well, they had Deontay Thornton, and that was basically Deontay Thornton's role, and he did it better. So I was like, okay, I guess I understand that. But then I looked more into his numbers last year, and he was just not very effective. He wasn't comfortable. He wasn't confident when he was attacking the football last season for Tennessee. This year, he certainly looks better. Now, I'm not about to sit here and say that, like, I think he's a first-round pick type of a wide receiver despite the production. There is still, in my opinion, some good and some bad with him. The Georgia game, it's phenomenal. Like, obviously, if you watch the Georgia game, he was fantastic, but there's even some strengths and weaknesses that we saw from within the Georgia game. So the strengths for him, I'll list those off first. Long frame, somewhat slender for his build, but a massive catch radius. When the ball is in the air, he has the ability to pluck it, whether it is over his head, whether he is extending his hands in front of the defensive back, whatever. He has got a massive catch radius, and he is using those full extended arms to catch the football this year so much more than he has in the past. So I love that he's using that tool even more this year. He has those very long strides to him, and he is more build-up speed. Now, that was also a little bit of a negative that I saw with him is, man, you watch that first game. God, I can't remember who they're playing in that first game. I mean, he is lumbering to get to full speed. I mean, he's getting off the line, and you could see like the arms are chugging, but he's like having to take a step and then a step and then a step and then a step, and it's like he's got to get to step 5 or 6 before he's actually at his top speed. Where you watch so many other wide receivers, I mean, they can get open in 2 steps. They can get open in 3 steps, something like that. So for him, he is much more of just that vertical stretching wide receiver because of his build-up speed and sort of how he is built there. He's not super flexible. I don't think he's got great short area quickness and flexibility to him. He's not going to be a guy that's going to make you miss after the catch. He's because of that, I also think that his route tree is a little bit limited. He's running a go, he's running a skinny post, he's running a comeback, or he's running a screen.
They love these guys, though. They always have one.
And that's what Tennessee is, but I'll get to that. I'll get to that in a second. The deep catches are fantastic this year, but they were bad last year. And so it's a little bit of like, okay, like even a couple of the Georgia catches. The one in the second half is the one that comes to mind where it's just a bomb and the DB is right there and he kind of like gets his body and hand on it, but Brazzell sort of just like puts his arms out and the body and the ball just kind of like goes to him. And it's like, I give him credit for that, but it's not like he showed this alpha coordination to go high point the ball and go get it up in the air. And even some good catches that he has deep down the field, I don't necessarily see that from him. So, all of that to say with him, I think I like Deontay Thornton better. And Deontay Thornton got drafted, what was he, 5th round? I remember that correctly?
I think earlier.
Was he earlier than that?
Yeah, they liked him a lot. Let's see.
I know, but I thought he was
He was in the 4th round.
4th round, okay.
Yeah, but pick 108, so, I mean...
Oh, that's pretty close to the 3rd round then. So, they got him as a mid-round
drafted over Alec Manor.
Hey, I like Deontay Thornton.
He has a skill set. Thornton has a skill set that, like, it's not easy to find a guy that tall and that fast all the time.
For sure. I also noticed a couple of times when I was watching Chris Brazzell that, like, whether it was, mainly it was with blocking, He'd sometimes be one of the first people to let up on a play, which I'd love to see him play through the whistle in opportunities where he's not getting the ball, certainly as a blocker, because I think he's got the frame and the strength to be able to do it. But I felt like even that was a little inconsistent in the couple of games that I watched from him in 2025. Ultimately, it's kind of another situation of, well, Tennessee's got another one. He's just going to be their deep pass receiver. And we've seen guys like Jalen Hyatt, Deontay Thornton. Obviously, now we have Brazzell, who's sort of in that similar role. And I think that he can be an NFL player, but I think he's playing at an NFL level for the first time this season. So it's a little bit tricky given how much he struggled last year versus what he is doing this year in Tennessee's offense as the vertical guy. I think it's going to come down to beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
Right.
There are going to be people out there that see this year of Brazzell, and obviously we're 3 games in, so he could go nuclear the rest of the year, and maybe it's not a debate at all. But as right now, the way that I see him is you're going to have people that go, yeah, give me that guy, I'm all in. And you're going to have other people that go, I don't know. I think the inconsistencies are still there for him. And it's just going to be different from scout to scout depending on who you're talking to.
He's a really interesting name because this did come out of nowhere. There's no way around it. And how many times have we seen Tennessee have explosive threats at wide receiver in their offense that enter the draft radar, right? We saw it with Jalen Hyatt in a much different mold. Cedric Tillman, obviously Deontay Thornton. So I'm really glad you brought this name to the show because he's one that you could be a casual college football watcher and you've seen him pop up on your TV already this season.
Yeah. Okay, who you got next?
Illinois offensive tackle J.C. Davis. This is one I was, we haven't talked a lot of linemen throughout Stock Up yet because you like to have a couple weeks of a sample size to work with. But J.C. Davis, he's veteran on this line. This line returned a lot of their starters. He's their left tackle. It's funny because you brought up Vincent Anthony, the edge rusher on Duke, recently. And Anthony gave J.C. Davis a really tough day in pass protection. And that said a lot about Anthony, but it also is an important point to note. I don't think the NFL is going to look at J.C. Davis and evaluate him as a left tackle. He is an interesting player because he doesn't have short arms. I think his arms are 34 3/8, which definitely passes the threshold. But you watch what he's best at and how he's built. He's 6'3" 7/8", 333 pounds. This dude is a mauling, core strength, anchor strength kind of guard. And I think that he's playing tackle because he's Illinois' best option at left tackle, and that line is pretty good. But I think it's easier to like him when you watch him and project him on the inside at the next level. And Davis is somebody that, after he had a little bit of a tough day in pass pro against a guy like Vincent Anthony, that's going to give him problems with some length and some speed on the outside. I thought he bounced back really well against Western Michigan this week. He had a shutout in pass protection, but what stands out to me more importantly is the traits. And when you're trying to transition them to guard, dude, Trevor, this guy is just, he's nasty in a phone booth. Like when they run inside zone or they get him dry blocking downhill, there's times where he'll combo or they'll have him working a double and he could just dump somebody with one arm. He generates so much strength from his hamstrings and his base, all the girth in his base, that it's so easy for him to just get working downhill and drive through defenders to the ground. So J.C. Davis against Western Michigan, obviously the numbers are going to pop. 84.9 pass blocking grade, didn't allow pressure, 81.2 run blocking grade. But as a player with traits, I think this guy could be a really good left guard prospect for us.
Yeah, I see him as more of a guard, but I do think that he has the skill set to be an NFL caliber guard. So I do agree with you there.
Yeah. So that Illinois team, they have a lot of veterans, and he's one of the key guys. And they play at Indiana this weekend. So with all the crazy stuff Indiana does with their defensive line, you'll get more really important tape for Davis.
Let's go. Excited for that matchup.
It's going to be a great game.
Mansoor Delane, the corner from LSU. He is one of 2 LSU players that I'm talking about here as a stock up candidate. Delane has always been somebody who I've been intrigued with because I've always felt like he's got great movement skills. Even going back to last year when he was draft eligible and he was with Virginia Tech, I thought the hips were oily. I thought that he could flip. I thought he could run. I think he's got good top speed. He can come downhill and trigger downhill for run defense reps. All of that was there for him. I love the movement skills from Mansoor Delane. The issue is he's listed at 187, and unfortunately I've seen him play like that too much when it comes to tackling or being physical with defenders or getting off of blocks, whatever that is. So I've always felt like the athleticism was good, but I didn't know how much I was going to let that outweigh, for full pun intended, the lack of weight that he had. And when that shows up in his games. Man, he is putting his best foot forward now at LSU to say, yeah, I'm a little bit more slender when it comes to the scale, but you're going to draft me because I can cover wide receivers basically on any route.
I'm with you.
And that has been him so far this season. 89.5 coverage grade, 83.8 coverage grade on passes of 20 or more yards. I mean, he is locking dudes down. I've watched this guy lock dudes out, whether it was the Clemson game or the Florida game. He's covering mesh concepts. He's covering slants. He's covering dig routes. He'll cover nines. He's covering posts. I mean, it's just that flexibility, the fluidity of his hips that is so alluring with him as a defender. And I mentioned he's playing a little bit better this year. He's playing a little bit stronger this year. Now, I still see him get overpowered a little bit, but 71.2 run defense grade this year. That's better than it was in years past. 18 targets to him, Connor, just 4 catches and 36 yards allowed. He's got 6 forced incompletions. That is a 33.3% forced incompletion percentage so far this year, which is incredible. I love the active hands that he is playing with. He is disrupting the catch point at all times. He is in hip pockets at all times, no matter who he's been going up against. And there's been some good competition that LSU's played so far to start the season. And he is just playing so confidently. Confidence is such an important part of playing the cornerback position. I know it's important for everything, but playing corner specifically. And when Mansoor Delane is playing it at a very high level, he's got the adequate athleticism, and now he's playing with that bonus confidence as well. He is a shutdown corner, and he is somebody that will be in my top 50. I don't know exactly where he's going to be next week when we end up updating that big board and we end up going through it, but he is going to be a top 50 player for me with how he is playing this season.
Dude, he looks awesome. Every game, every LSU game, they're one team that I've gotten to actually watch most of their games on broadcast the day of. It's just been fortunate enough that they weren't playing like when we're on the air or whatever it may be. And they've played a lot of big games, like you said, so you want to watch them. He pops on broadcast tape, not just all 22 at corner, because he is constantly playing the ball. So Delane, and I love that you brought up the confidence, because he was somebody that was credited with giving up those 7 touchdowns last year. And you looked at it, and it always felt like he would give too much cushion when he wasn't confident, and somebody would catch the ball and beat him for the touchdown. And then when he was trying to not let people do that, they'd get over the top of him. Mm-hmm. And he just didn't have the answers. And it's like, this is a good player in 2023. This is a player that started almost 30 games for Virginia Tech. He just had a down year at a bad time. And boy, did he find the right home at LSU, because forget that down year. He is playing at such a high level right now for LSU.
And that'll flow into the last guy that I'm going to talk about here for this. I don't want to get to him right away. I want to get to your guy first, but how they play defense specifically. I mean, Delane, they're letting him play press man corner. They're letting him play cat coverage. Cover that cat, don't let him catch the football. And that is where he absolutely thrives. And the aggressiveness of that LSU defense is really showing up in a lot of ways. But before I get to my last guy, who do you have for yours?
This is one that just jumped out to me in the Florida LSU game.
Yeah, I don't even know who this is. You wrote this on the sheet. I don't even know who this is.
George Gumbs Jr., the edge player for Florida. I did not know a ton about him. What a story. I mean, this is a former wide receiver recruit. He was 210 pounds. He starts his career as a wide receiver at Northern Illinois. He plays some special teams. He plays some tight end the first 2 years. He switches to defensive end. The green lights kind of come on for him. Now he's an edge-setting beast at Florida. He really is. You turn on the tape of him playing against the run against LSU, and it's like, what the hell? This guy is just constantly crashing into tackles and pullers and all kinds of blockers and taking on contact at 6'4", 250 pounds. He's a stand-up edge. He's just got zero fear against the run. He really does. I mean, you go into our database, Trevor. He had 11 snaps playing the run. He had a positive run defense grade impact, which means he had like a game-changing play against the run on 54.5% of them.
That's a lot.
That's ridiculous.
That's ridiculous.
For context, everybody, if you had like a 20%, it would be like, hey, it's a pretty good day stopping the run. He makes the most of his snaps. And I'll say this because I kind of looked at him like, he's just kind of this power and gritty, tough run edge, like set the edge, hold the point of attack, get off the block, and make the tackle. He had a rush in this game against LSU's right tackle that he had a sick ghost move on. And the tackle, he beat the tackle so fast with the ghost move that the tackle tackled him by the neck to the ground, and he got the flag. The ref pulled the flag right away. It was one of the most ridiculous holds I've ever seen. And he actually might have got banged up on it because he got up really slowly after. I mean, he got wrapped around the helmet and kind of brought down like WWE style. But the move was, I was like, damn, this guy is just founded as a stand-up edge. And the fact that he was playing tight end and wide receiver a couple years ago at freaking Northern Illinois, I'm kind of excited right now about George Gumbs Jr., man. This is gotta be your guy, Trevor. Respect him.
I see that he is the highest graded defender that we have. He's got a 16.2% pass rush win percentage. Like I'm looking at his numbers right now. He's the highest graded run defender or just overall pass rusher that we have on the team, which is, I mean, hey, we need it because I don't know if we're going to score points this season. So.
The pain in your voice right now. You're just disgusted that Florida is making the airwaves at the moment. It's okay.
Tired of this.
Shout out to George Gumbs Jr.
Shout out to Gumby.
Gumby. There it is.
I don't know if we can call him that anymore because he looks stacked at 2
I
don't think we can call him that.
He kind of plays like the Hulk, but yeah, stacked.
All right, so the last guy that I want to talk about here on the stock watch is AJ Haulcy, who is the safety for LSU. And I was mentioning how this guy that we're going to bring up is perfect for the way that we talked about Delane. So what LSU does, not always, but what they do a lot, they will play their corners in true man coverage. Like they will play true cover one. And they will let AJ Haulcy essentially do whatever he wants. Cover this however you want. If you think that you've got to play over the top on a safety, do that. If you think you want to play as a robber, if you think you want to lean towards the tight end side, to the slot receiver side, to the trip side, like whatever it is, they let him read the quarterback, and it is a big-time advantage for them with how this guy has played. I want to make sure that I get his background information right. But so far this season, he has a 77.8 overall grade. He has an 81.0 coverage grade. He has an interception. He's got a forced incompletion. He's got 8 career interceptions.
So he had 5 picks last year. At
Houston. 3 out of the 4 years that he has played college football, he has a coverage grade above 80. This dude knows how to get after the football. So he is a senior this year. He is 6 feet tall, 222 pounds. 6 feet tall for a safety is right around 35th percentile. 222 pounds as a safety is 95th percentile. Like he is a big dude. So it's a smaller frame, but it's a thicker, stout frame that you know that he can take some punishment with, which is kind of ironic given his scouting report, but I'll get to that in a second. So he was a 3-star recruit in the 2022 class. He committed to New Mexico State. He started 9 games as a true freshman in 2022. Transferred to Houston, started all 12 games in 2023, started all 12 games in 2024. You mentioned how well he played last season with those 5 interceptions. Then he transfers over to LSU. He has, this is, I won't pretend to have watched every single safety in college football. I would be surprised if there is anybody in the country who is better at robber roles than AJ Haulcy. The way that he reads quarterbacks' eyes and anticipates where they're going is so good. He had Cade Klubnik in hell in that first week. He had DJ Lagway in hell on the third week. They're looking over the middle of the field, and all of a sudden, like, Haulcy's running exactly to where they're going to throw the ball. And a couple of times Lagway threw it. And a couple of times you could tell Kate Klubnik goes, why is he there already? It's almost like he's staring at the quarterback going, hey, yeah, here I am. This is where you're throwing the ball. Go ahead. The anticipation that he has is fantastic. He's got such a great feel for where the ball is going. He's got great ball skills. And when I mean that, I mean not just when the ball is near him coming down with it for an interception, but also the path that he takes to the ball and the anticipation and the timing that he has as that defender. Now, he doesn't have elite speed, so he's not this, like when you put him in single high situations, that's why I say like LSU's kind of got the perfect coverage group right now, because it's corners that can all play press man and they can all cover deep if they need to in press man and stay in phase with wide receivers. And it truly allows Haulcy to just roam the middle of the field and be an absolute menace. Anytime one of these quarterbacks thought they had an easy completion to a deep over route or a dig route or some like a quick slant from the slot, whatever it is, I mean, he's there. He's reading this almost the second that the play begins. So I think that he knows what he's looking at from a film perspective. He can anticipate things really well. Now, the negatives for him is that even though that he has a little bit more pounds on him, he just doesn't love tackling as much as he loves coverage stuff. Like whether it's run defense, whether it's pass rush, he's just not he's not as passionate about running into guys at full speed the way that he is running into where the ball is going to be to go make a play in coverage. So if he was a little bit more tenacious, violent, full speed at those responsibilities, I mean, we would be talking about, in my opinion, a top 50 safety. Now, I think he's a top 100 safety, but how well he rounds out his game as a run defender will sort of, he's not built like Kalen Bullock, but the conversation's sort of like Kalen Bullock, where he was like, hey, this is an elite coverage defender for you, but he's not super reliable in run defense. I think Haulcy can be a better run defender just because he's got more weight on him. Because what did Bullock come in at? Like 185, 190, something like that. I mean, he's skinny. Halsey's different. But I was so impressed with how he played against Florida. I went back and I watched, and I was so impressed with how he played against Clemson. This is, in my opinion, a very instinctual and difference-making safety at the NFL level if you could put him in the right role where you could just let him roam the middle of the field and be a menace.
How pissed do you think DJ Lagway is going to be after Haulcy picked him off in college when one day in the NFL, Haulcy is covering him out of the slot or off the line of scrimmage when Lagway's at tight end? He's like, oh, this guy again? I can't get away from this guy.
I'm going to read an ad now. Parenting's filled with high-pressure decisions, and it can be difficult to tell if we've made the right choice for our kid's future, like playing quarterback or tight end. But here's a simple decision that you can make that can have a meaningful impact on your kid's future, and that's opening up a UGMA kids investment account with Fabric to start their journey and give them a financial head start. Fabric by Gerber Life was designed by parents for parents to make it easy to plan for and manage your family's financial path. With a kids investment account from Fabric, you can start investing in your child's future today. While your kids can't invest while they're minors, this UGMA kids investment account allows you to invest on their behalf. It gives their investment so much more time to grow. The funds can be used for nearly anything, whether it's tuition, books, summer camps, after-school activities when they're kids. And then when they're a little bit older, maybe you're helping them buy their first house, their first car, start a business, whatever that looks like. The whole thing is online, and setting up an account could take you as little as just 5 minutes. You can get started investing with as little as $1 a day, and then you just manage your child's account and monitor those investments right from your phone. Join the thousands of parents who trust Fabric to help protect their family. Start investing in your child today at meetfabric.com/stock exchange. That's meetfabric.com/stock exchange. MEET fabric.com/stock exchange. Portfolios are managed by Fort Washington Investment Advisors Incorporated. Additional services provided by Apex Clearing Corporation. All investing is subject to risk. You can learn more at meetfabric.com.
I feel a little bad. You had such a good monologue on a player that I am so excited to watch now. Like as you were talking, I put him in my sheet. I was like, oh man, this guy's got ball skills. I love the way they use him. And then instead of giving like a good response, I had to get a joke off.
Hey, you know what? Get him off now. Get him off now, because DJ's coming for the Heisman in 2 years.
Get your last laughs in, folks.
I don't know if I probably won't be at Florida, but when he transfers to A&M, you know.
Oh God. New name?
Okay. Yeah, new name to the table. Who you got?
How about Miami running back Mark Fletcher Jr. right now?
Oh, I watched him for summer. So he didn't make my. We didn't. I don't think we talked.
I don't think we did.
No. Because he wasn't in my. What do we do? Like top 12 or so, top 10
Something
running
around
backs
there.
or whatever.
Yeah.
But okay, all right. So you watched him.
Mark Fletcher Jr. is off to a really, really strong start as the guy on this team right now. He had 15 carries for 66 yards against Notre Dame. And then in week 2 against Bethune-Cookman, he had 86 yards. But then he took the stage this week against USF, because that was a big game, obviously, against USF, where he had 16 carries, 121 yards. But more importantly, Trevor, 9 missed tackles forced. When you look at Fletcher Jr., he is listed at 6'2", I think 225 pounds, 225. He looks it. Like, you look at him in the backfield. They had some kind of pony package at a shotgun. I think it was their other running back or a gadget player. Either way, they had another skill player in the backfield, and he looked twice the size of the other skill player in the pony package. His build looks exactly like Najee Harris at Alabama, where you're like, that dude is bigger than everybody else. But then he gets the ball, and he's so big that tacklers are hesitating on what to do against him, and he can cut, and he can make them miss, and then he knows how to run through people. Against USF, he had 4 explosive runs of 10-plus yards. He had 5.6 yards after contact per attempt. So he was getting hit and generating about 6 yards after that per attempt. So this is somebody and he caught a couple passes. One was a really nice catch and run to the sideline for a first down. Fletcher Jr. is a power runner that can do a little bit of the ballet dancing in the open field, because he utilizes his power so well at the line of scrimmage that second and third level defenders are kind of overthinking what to do with him in the open field, because he's always bigger than them. I am really, really impressed with his ability to get upfield and make something happen. And this Miami team that has so much talent, him breaking out, and I know he played enough last year, but they have really leaned into him being a cog of their run game now.
I mean, so when I watched him over the summer, there were times that I thought that he could play even more consistently powerful at his size. And from the little that I have seen him this year, it looks like he is doing that on a much more consistent basis. I also am curious, did you watch his pass protecting reps? Because I have noted here already one of the best pass protecting backs in the class just from his underclassmen tape.
No, so I know. So he graded out really high in this game. I watched the snaps where he ran a route, but it looks like he had 6 pass blocks and graded out really highly, and that doesn't surprise me, because he is so big and his movement skills are impressive enough. So the fact that he's clearly carrying that over to pass pro is another awesome. I'm telling you, I know people look at Najee differently now, because he has definitely slowed down over the years. But Najee Harris, when he was a prospect, was a really exciting player. Mm-hmm. This guy reminds me of Alabama Najee Harris. He does.
All right. Yeah. I mean, that's high. Najee was drafted
first round by the Steelers.
Yeah, like 26 or something, whatever it was. I can't remember exactly where it was. 20s. But I mean, he was a first round pick. I don't know if Fletcher's going to be a first round pick, but the skill set's absolutely there for him.
Yeah, I think teams are a little bit more cautious about taking that kind of guy in the first round these days, although Amari and Hampton was different, but Hampton still went in the first round. But
yeah. Also, when I say that the skill set's there for him, I mean for him to have a similar Najee Harris feel to him. I didn't mean
no, I know. If he was a top 75 pick though, when it's all said and done, I'd be like, yeah, I'm not shocked. I mean, when you're that big and strong and you're pretty good at all 3 phases of the game, then you should probably go that early.
Big people beat up little people.
Always.
That is one of the mantras of the NFL. I'm going to talk about Josh Hoover, the quarterback from TCU. This is somebody who got a lot of shout-outs last week from the Addicts of players that we should watch, and I didn't have time to get to Hoover, but this week I did. So I want to make sure that I get to his breakdown in full. So he is a redshirt junior at TCU. He is 6'2", 200 pounds, so a little bit smaller, 32nd percentile in height, 3rd percentile in weight. So yeah, not he doesn't have great measurables, and we'll get into that sort of as we sort of talk about him here. But he was a 3-star quarterback from Rockwall, Texas. Also played baseball when he was in high school. He redshirted his first year, started 6 games in 2023, started all 13 games last year, and he is once again a starter this year. His dad, Alex Hoover, was a linebacker at Colorado State, also played in the NFL. He is grading very well so far this season. Through 2 games, because they had the week off in week 2. They started with UNC, had the week off, and then I think they played Abilene Christian. Through 2 games, 85.1 passing grade, and he also had an 84.3 passing grade last season, so 2 consistent years of him being a pretty good passer. He's got 3 big-time throws. He's got 2 turnover-worthy plays. He has a 78.5.8 adjusted completion percentage. He's got 6 touchdowns and 1 interception on the year. Has a 10.0 average depth of target, which is up a full 2 yards from what it was last year. So when I watch Hoover, it's just a easy on the eyes type of a watch, I should say. When he hikes the football, the ball's where it should be. He's holding the ball up near his shoulders. It's tight. The throwing motion is quick, concise. It's powerful. It's compact. He's nimble on his feet, but he doesn't let him being quick on his feet mean that he's leaving the pocket early. He still has a good pocket presence to him. He'll still hang in the pocket when he needs to. He's just got such smooth touch passes. I mean, that's really the calling card of his game, if you ask me. When he's got to put some extra air under it, let the wide receiver run under it. He had a handful, especially in 2024, because I watched some 2024 tape as well, since 2025 is so new this year. There were some passes last year where it was just gorgeous, the touch passes. So you know that he's got that in the arsenal to be able to go to whenever he wants. Now in 2024, what I watched of him is I watched somebody that had well below average arm strength for the NFL level. Well below. And when you talk about the fact that he's 6'2", 200 pounds, well below the measurable percentile, unfortunately that checks out. And it's hard to really love a guy for the NFL level if his measurables are small and you don't believe in his arm. So that is something that I consistently saw on tape from him last year. When he was cranking up the RPMs, that's when you really started to see him miss, when he had to really put some extra gas and some juice on the fastball. That's when you would see the accuracy dip. That's when he would, if he saw a throw late and he tried to put more of his body into it, it's not going exactly where it needed to. So when he was in structure, it could look good from him. But when he had to make those split-second decisions, he didn't necessarily have the arm to be able to get it there. Anything past 30, 35 yards, and it was also a little squirrely for him to get the ball where he needed to at the pace in which he needed to get the ball there to make sure defenders weren't closing and his wide receivers were able to maximize any of the separation that they were able to get vertically. Now, I will say this. 2 games into 2025, he looks like he's got more juice in his arm. And I think it's because he is getting more power from his lower half. He's getting more power from his hips and the torque that he has as he kind of comes through, because that throwing motion is still compact. He is he is whipping it faster than what he was the previous season. So when we talk about arm talent, there's not a lot of room for guys to get better with arm talent. A lot of times, like, that kind of is what it is. But Hoover is a nice reminder of, hey, this kid's still, a kid. He's still 20 years old. He's still getting stronger. He's still growing. He's still improving and maximizing his throwing motion and his mechanics. And this year, he has more juice and velocity on his passes. So I am a lot more encouraged about him. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that he's, a day 2 or day 1 pick, but I watched his 2024 stuff and I was like, I don't think this guy's a draftable NFL quarterback. I'm watching him this year and I go, okay, I can see it. Let's see the year play out. But I could see him being a draftable quarterback when it's all said and done, even with some of those smaller measurables to him. He reminds me a little bit of Stetson Bennett. A little bit like Stetson Bennett in that regard, where he's just like, man, physically, you look at him, and I think he's bigger than Stetson Bennett, but it's just one of those quarterbacks where you look at him and you just want to write him off. But then you watch him and, okay, the arm's got a little bit more juice than you thought. He's not going to wow you with it, but it's capable enough. And to be honest with you, man, Stetson Bennett's played some preseason games where he's been nails. Like, he's shown, like, there's a reason why the Rams keep him on the roster. Yeah. It's because I think that he is capable of playing at the NFL level despite being much smaller on the measurable perspective. So I'm not saying it's a for sure 1-for-1 comp, but it was kind of the feel that I got when I was watching Hoover, and the fact that he was able to increase his arm strength and just his overall arm talent, or at least the execution of it this season, has been good to watch. So I'm excited to watch him as the year goes on. It is funny to go back to Stetson Bennett on this show because he was taking it with a 4th-round pick, 128th overall, which is pretty high in the moment. Right. As we were talking about Noah Fifita,
and you're now talking about Hoover. I mean, Stetson Bennett was 5'11", 192. So, once again, the conversations around Hoover and Fifita, they aren't, can you be that size and go in the first 2 rounds? But can you be a day 3 pick and develop as a backup that can get your team by with these injuries that are week to week? Because you play fast, you know the system, you have enough arm talent, and really what's in between the ears kind of gives your arm talent a little bit of a boost. Like, do you need to have this absolute rocket launcher when you're seeing things earlier than a lot of other people? No, it's the same concept of linebackers with instincts and linebackers that are elite athletes and the split of the two. If you have instincts, you actually might be just get to the ball as fast as the guy that's really fast because he doesn't have the instincts to see it. It's the guys that blend both that are special, but there's just not enough humans in this world that have both. So if a guy can play the position, like you're saying with Hoover and like I'm saying with Fifita, then the NFL is at least going to give them a look. Who the hell thought Jake Browning would not only still be around in the NFL right now,
right,
but actually viewed for a team as he's developed in that system as the backup that they want every year behind a guy in Joe Burrow that we love, but is hurt a lot. So it does happen.
I agree, man. I think that again, watching him in 2024, I would have told you, no, he's not getting drafted. But watching him this year, there's a chance. There's a chance. Let's watch it play out. But I was very impressed by the improvement I felt like he showed in an area where a lot of guys just don't improve. And he was able to do so going into this year. So excited to continue to watch him. All right, let's get to some shout-outs from the addicts here. DraftGeek saying, okay, Chris Brazzell, huge showing against Georgia. And again, like going back to it, now that I'm kind of like thinking of it, I feel like I was a little bit too much of a hater on Brazzell. When I was watching him, it's like, man, like I do think that he has a lot of potential. I just didn't think that he had that rare movement skills. But I will say this. I watched the Syracuse game first, and that was my first impression. And a lot of sort of what I said there was the baseline of what I saw versus Syracuse. Against Georgia, he looked more amped up. Like the releases were faster, some of the breaks were faster, and so which one of him am I going to get as the year goes on? Is it the Syracuse one? Is it the Georgia one? Because if it's much more of the Georgia one, then yeah, I think that we're talking about a guy that could be a top 100 pick in the 2026 NFL draft. But a lot of you were shouting out Brazzell, and that was a big reason why I wanted to watch him for the show. JT saying Mark Fletcher, your guy, shouted him out.
Nice.
Grayson Barnes, the tight end for West Virginia, haven't watched him. Darrell Gill Jr., the wide receiver from Syracuse. TJ Wingert wanted us to shout out Casey Concepcion. You liked him in Summer Scouting,
I did like him a lot, and man, the A&M dudes, so that was our game this weekend, one of our games. We also had Ohio State, but obviously Notre Dame A&M was primetime NBC. Those A&M receivers can freaking fly. It is the Notre Dame corners, Christian Gray, who was a dude. These Notre Dame corners could not run with these guys. They could not. They were actually missed on a couple throws.
Leonard Moore could, but
they could.
Leonard Moore might be a first-round pick next year.
There was a lot of throws left on the field, and A&M still won. Their other receiver, who is small but can freaking fly, he's a sophomore. Yeah. He's not eligible.
Who is he? What's his name?
I'm pulling it up right now. He was Mario Craver. Oh, my goodness.
Oh, Craver.
Mario Craver. Blink and look out. And, yeah, they have Bussy as well.
Is Craver the one who's a junior?
Or he's a sophomore. So is Bussy.
Yeah. Right.
If Reed keeps developing and he missed some throws in this game, look out for that offense.
Yeah, KC in this game, 4 catches, 82 yards, 20.5 yards per.
He probably had the one that won them the game. It got them down on the other side of the field with not a lot of time left away.
Yeah, he has been really impressive, at least from a statistical output. And he was, where was he before? He was
NC State.
Yes, he was at NC State before. Which, by the way, Hollywood Smothers, the guy who took over for him in the backfield, who's a little bit of that offensive weapon. Did you see the game that he had?
No,
I got to look this up. Hold on, because somebody else shouted him out. Whoops. Hollywood Smothers stats. Yeah, here we go. Because his numbers were crazy this past week. Let me see. He had 24 carries, 164 rushing yards. I mean, he was just an absolute... The last 2 weeks, actually. The week before, he had 17 carries, 140 yards. And against Wake Forest, he had 24 carries, 164 yards. I mean, he has been a monster so far this season. He has been fantastic. Bray Hubbard, the safety from Alabama, 92.1 defensive grade at a 91.8 coverage grade this past week. So great to see that. J-Wack was giving us that shout out. Brian said, I want to stock watch on Trevor's golf game.
Oh.
I'm going to get a swing analysis / fitted for clubs on Friday.
Nice. New clubs time?
You know, I've never not had hand-me-down clubs from my dad.
So
all the
this
clubs,
is big.
all the clubs I've ever owned in my life are just my dad's clubs. And the driver specifically, it's funny. I have a little bit of lean back like in my driver, like naturally. And so my dad's driver was tuned to him to get more
Loft?
air under
Yeah.
it, loft under it. And I naturally have too much, so I'm just skying the crap out of my
Yeah,
drives
you gotta fix
every
that.
single time.
And you hit the ball far. I've seen you post your data. So, like, if you have a driver that you have less loft,
Yeah,
because you can hit the ball even further than you already are.
I think
So-
I would consistently hit it over 300 pretty easily if I had a driver that was actually tuned to what I needed.
Dude, that's exciting, man. I remember as an adult, the first time I bought clubs, and I didn't use them for a while, but like, it was a big moment. It was like, I'm doing this. Like, I'm actually going to lean into it. So, and yeah, you're right. Like, they are your clubs. Like, they've never been hit before you. It's a different feeling.
And the best part about having no more excuses is I just get to hate myself more.
Yeah, that's the best part. Like,
I'm gonna pay a dumb amount of money
for these
just
fit
to hate myself more.
They are fit to me. They are precisely supposed to help me not smack the club 10 feet into the mud. And here we are. Oh, God. Or top the ball. Great sport.
Love it.
Can't get enough
Anthony
of it.
Anthony's giving us more context here. Hollywood Smothers, 380 rushing yards on the season, 286 of them coming after contact, 20 missed tackles forced. Love that. He also saying, curious how you guys view Peter Woods, if he's maybe a stock down player, been really strong against the run, but only one pressure in 3 games so far. So that's somebody that we're probably going to watch next week as a potential like stock down guy to talk about there. Charlie shouting out Jeremy Bernard, the wide receiver from Alabama, who's looked good so far this season. Boy, Ty Simpson looked good as well.
Bernard, that's a good call out. I got to revisit him because he had some big grades, but
who?
Jeremy Bernard.
Simpson or
no, Bernard.
Yeah. We got somebody who's shouting out Gunnar Stockton, who is draft eligible, and he is playing pretty well to start the season here. He might be somebody that we've got to watch. We got a couple for Bishop Fitzgerald. He's the safety from USC. I don't know anything about him at all. There's also...
he was going to be stock up, I think, after 2 weeks or 1 week for me because his grades are insane.
Uh-huh.
But I think they hadn't played anyone.
So it was like a Dante Moore situation?
I've watched him, and I was going to use him. Yeah, this is why. So he played against Purdue now, which is better. But I'd watched him after 2 weeks. They played against Missouri State, and then I think they played against Georgia State. So I held off. But he has huge grades in the system and he's got 3 picks already. Like it's
okay.
Yeah, he's coming. He's coming.
All right. Okay, I'll watch him. I'll watch him. Also, the safety, Earl Little Jr., I need to watch him. He has been on my watch list for like 3 weeks. I just haven't had time to get the safeties. So I will watch those 2 guys, and I'll make sure that I get my thoughts on those guys out to y'all. Cal cornerback Hezekiah Massis. Have not heard of him either, but he got a couple of shout-outs here from the Addicts. CJ Daniels from Miami. Got to get to his tape. Sean saying Washington left tackle Carver Willis. Yeah, we got to. Oh, yeah. I think we shouted him out.
We might have.
I think we shout. Mikhail Easteen is the other guy that we got to watch from Kansas State.
Our guy, friend of the show, and very good draft analyst in our industry, James Foster, he DM'd me for this episode and said Quincy Rhodes Jr. He is the defensive tackle. He's kind of like a higher. He's 6'6", 276, but he plays up front for Arkansas. Oh. He's off to a good start this season. I gotta get into the tape, but I know he's popped off a bit. So and James is someone that he's very early on guys.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. I will watch him immediately after this. Got to get to him. Dane Key. Got a couple of shout-outs for Dane Key, the wide receiver from Nebraska who was at Kentucky. And, of course, Clev Lubin getting another shout-out.
There he is again. You can't miss him. I don't have to check if he's real this time.
Clev Lubin, a.k.a. the lobotomizer.
Oh, man. What are you... I thought he was the heartbreaker.
No, that's not. No, I got a new one.
God.
The human lobotomy. No. That one doesn't work. That one doesn't work.
That'd be terrifying to take the field, and right before the field, somebody goes, you know who's on the other sideline? And you're like, who? The lobotomizer. I'd be like, yeah, I think I'm a healthy scratch today, coach. Thanks. All of a sudden, my ankle is twisted in half.
We would love to hear from you guys. Our thoughts here on these prospects, as well as anything else. YouTube.com/@NFL Stock Exchange, the best way to do that. If you made it this far on the show and you're not subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. We would absolutely love you to be a part of the Addicts and get in on the episodes every single time, and that's the best way to do that. Again, if you don't have a PFF Plus subscription, NFLSE 25. Get you 25% off. Folks, it's 3 free months of a PFF Plus subscription. If you don't have it, now it's a great time to do it. NFLSE 25. You can hit the show up on all the social media at NFLSE Show, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. Hit us up at Tampa Bay Trey, at Connor J. Rogers. That's where you can
Farmers
reach
only.
us. Farmers only?
Yep, we're on there. No, we're not.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't know if we are. I don't think I have the I don't have the expertise to be on Farmers only. You know, like we get past the small talk and be like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what you do.
I can't tell you one goddamn thing about farming.
Yeah.
I lied. I'm
so
just
about
here.
corn, you know,
Yep.
and then it's just like, it's a strategy. You know, maybe you just have them do all the talking, you know,
Yep.
so that they
And you
enjoy
go,
the
yeah.
conversation more.
It's my favorite time of the year.
I was waiting to see what you were going to say next.
I don't know.
Just see what happens.
Oh, man. Is it barley season? Oh, boy.
Holy cow. Can't breathe. This week's an exciting week of college football. Enjoy it, my friends. Enjoy NFL football as well. We're actually switching up the format. We're switching up the show format for next week. I'm not going to tell you what it is. I'm going to make you guys
Be surprised.
sweat it out. You got to be surprised. It's going to be fun, though. We're going to be covering the NFL in a new way.
Stockwatch isn't going anywhere. Don't scare him about that.
No. Stockwatch. Well, I might go somewhere for next week because we might do the big board update.
Yes.
But
It won't leave permanently.
it will return. Yeah, it will return. So, but we do have an exciting new format that we're going to kind of roll out. And honestly, like we got a lot of very exciting things that we're doing new here on the channel over the next couple of weeks. Our new producer, Tyler, is helping us out with a lot of that. So we are really looking forward to a lot of the changes. We think that you guys are going to enjoy it too.
The chef.
And it's honestly, it's gonna be a chef. He cooked.
He's the
he
chef.
Cooked. He always does. And we think that you guys are going to enjoy it as well. We're gonna get more live shows in there, which is I think really exciting for us to get to connect with you guys while we do these shows in an even better way, in a more instant way than just the comments and everything. But yeah, anyways, enjoy football this weekend. Appreciate you guys. For Connor Rogers, I'm Trevor Sikkema saying thank you so much for watching the NFL Stock Exchange Show. See you guys next week.